More than a month since Venezuela conducted elections, and its results continue to make waves in the South American nation. As Venezuelan authorities tighten the noose around opposition presidential candidate Edmundo Gonzalez, global powers are not taking kindly to incumbent leader Nicolas Maduro's re-election. Here's a report.
A Venezuelan court has issued an arrest warrant for opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez amid a dispute over whether he or President Nicolas Maduro won the country's presidential election in late July. News of the warrant came from the country's Attorney General's office on Monday, which shared a photo of the document with Reuters. The warrant accuses Gonzalez of conspiracy and other crimes. Maduro spoke on state television after news of the warrant broke, calling Gonzalez a, quote, cowardly man. An arrest warrant against Gonzalez would amount to a major escalation in Maduro's government's crackdown against the opposition following the disputed July 28th election, which has included detentions of opposition figures and protesters. Venezuela's National Electoral Authority and its top court have said Maduro won with just over half of the votes, but tallies shared by the opposition show a resounding victory for Gonzalez. The opposition, along with some Western countries and international bodies like a United Nations panel of experts, have said the vote was not transparent and demanded publication of full tallies, with some outright decrying fraud. A Gonzalez spokesperson said they were awaiting any notification of a warrant, but made no further comment. The opposition has denied any wrongdoing. The warrant request came hours after the Biden administration said an aircraft used by Maduro had been confiscated in the Dominican Republic. Washington determined that its purchase violated U.S. sanctions, while the Venezuelan government slammed the move as an act of piracy.
Now, according to U.S. Justice Department, the aircraft was illegally purchased for $13 million through a Caribbean-based shell company and smuggled out of the United States. The U.S. says that in late 2022 and early 2023, individuals linked to Maduro allegedly used the shell company to conceal their involvement in the illegal purchase of the jet. Addressing the matter, the Dominican Republic government has denied any involvement in the investigation and that the authorities have only complied with the legal requests received from Washington.
Neither the Dominican government nor the public prosecutor's office participated in the United States investigation. It was only this international legal cooperation that was required, and since the aforementioned norms were followed and court orders were obtained, the public prosecutor's office complied with what was ordered by the courts.
President Nicolas Maduro, his associates and Venezuela's oil sector are under heavy U.S. sanctions. The concerns over Venezuela's poll mandate stemming from claims of an unfair election has raised the prospects that Washington could impose further measures. And to take this story further, we are being joined by Diego Soera from Caracas. He is a political analyst, journalist and a columnist. Thank you so much for joining us here on WION.
Thank you.
Mr. Soera, what do you make of the situation that Venezuela is currently in?
Well, currently we are in a sort of, I dare to say, sort of improvised regime change attempt after the tour de force we had during the elections fizzled out. So the examples of what you already reviewed tells us they need to keep the steam going some way or another, and mostly based because there's no actual turmoil or major conflict going on in the streets of Caracas or any other Venezuelan city. So this kind of explains this situation we're currently going through after, of course, the United States and the powers that be are not happy with the electoral results of the last July the 28th.
Right, Mr. Soera, you say that they want the steam to be going. Does the United States have any vested interest in this?
Well, absolutely. I mean, they always have. There are many reasons why they're interested in this. I mean, there's no secret that even from the earliest stages of the Bolivarian Revolution, I mean, I'm going back 25 years here, especially after 2001 onwards, Venezuela has been an issue for the United States precisely because of not lining up with their own strategic interests, or to be more accurate, solely and exclusively under their own strategic interests. So this has been a continuum ever since, during the whole Chavez years, and it got intensified and worsened during the Maduro years, which are already reaching the 11 years and the third mandate. So it's in that context that all of this is going on, and of course it has at least three obvious reasons. One of it, of course, it's the Venezuelan resources, oil, gas, and rare earth. The other one, it's to discipline the population and to not set up an example of a possible alternative to the Washington consensus in our hemisphere.
Right, Mr. Soera, I want to go back to a point you made earlier, that the streets of Caracas, nothing's really happening there. As a matter of fact, the opposition leader, Edmundo Gonzalez, who has claimed that he has won the elections this year, is on the run. And if I could also bring you some stats here, according to Gallup, 26% of Venezuelans say that they have confidence in elections honesty, 26%. 68% say that they are struggling to afford food in Venezuela. 54% say that they do not feel safe on the same streets that you say nothing is happening. What do you make of that then?
Well, first of all, are they safe in any third world country or city? I mean, you can throw those stats anywhere else and it's going to say the same thing. Think about, for example, let's think about a very classic example. Think about Rwanda, which actually has a president that has over 30 years in power, who just got an election of 99%, and the streets aren't also either safe in Kigali, for example. So what's the thing here? This is for sure, this is cherry picking. And also, I don't know the precise standards of Gallup. One thing is to say that there's no major turmoil in the streets, and a very different one to say that everything is perfect, which of course it's not, and that's not what I tried to say anyway. So if you're gonna address Venezuela key issues currently, there are many, of course, we've been dealing through, including a 11-year sanctions program and each and every set of boycotts ever since. So in that sense, of course, nothing is going to be perfect. The Venezuelan state is not allowed properly to actually manage itself and to take revenue of their own resources. And of course, you're going to expect that. Now, from what date is this Gallup poll, and why it was above a 50% participation during elections? Just let me know how many people are participating in the European elections, how many participate in France or Germany, for that matter. So it's, regardless of that perception, 60% of the Venezuelan voting population voted in the last election.
All right, Mr. Soera, thank you so much for joining us here on WION and getting us your insights.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.